just before we start the show, I want to take an opportunity to invite you to join me for the Podfluence Weekly newsletter, which is available both on LinkedIn and through the official newsletter channel. Now, if you are on LinkedIn and it's easier for you to follow there, then please just click on the link in the show notes, which will take you straight to Podfluence on LinkedIn, where you can subscribe for free and get weekly updates on Podfluence articles as well as episodes. If you would like to subscribe to the full newsletter where you'll get additional materials and, as my little incentive to you, my pre-podcast guest checklist for you to use when you're appearing on podcast shows so that you can be fully prepared every single time, then please click the link to the official newsletter in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Let's get on with the show. Welcome to Speaking of Influence, the podcast for speakers and professionals or anyone who wants to present with impact. Hosted by presentation persuasion coach John Ball. Remember to like and subscribe. If you're thinking of starting a podcast, there couldn't be an easier way to get started than getting started with Buzzsprout. They have all the tools and resources you need for starting a podcast and getting it out to all the major podcasting networks. Check out the link in the show notes and get your podcast started today. Welcome to the show, and I am joined today by someone who is an impersonator, a comedian, an actress, and you better not mess with her because she will kick your ass. She is a bootcamp instructor as well. She'll get you in shape, knock you into shape super fast. Please welcome to the show, Ione Brown.
Hello, everybody.
It's really nice to have you here, and we want to carry on this theme of humor as a presentation tool and things like that. And you have perhaps a more unique take on humor than some of my previous guests, that you actually do impersonations of people as well.
Yes. So, John, sometimes when we're having a conversation, a character might pop in. So please just be aware of that. At any time, somebody might come in and interrupt the flow of what we're doing. So I'm giving you the heads up, all right?
I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to that possibility.
But never forgotten. Look, already, I may be dead, but I'm still here. It's the Iron Lady just interrupting the flow.
She looks a bit like Queen Elizabeth there, though.
I do beg your pardon. It was in actual fact the Queen. I did actually pick up the wrong mask.
But it's nice.
I've had quite a lot to drink, John, and I really don't know who I am these days. You know, Megan over here has taken my grandson Harry, and I really just want to say, off with her head.
I'm so sorry.
She's been at the gin again, right? Hasn't she? She's been at the gin, like mother, like daughter, I would say.
Well, all just went a bit funny for a moment.
those are relevant characters right now. Like the time we're recording, like the new series of The Crown is out, right, on Netflix, and they've got obviously the Queen, which is the marvelous Olivia Colman, and Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher. That's incredible.
Wow.
Absolutely loving that. So making both of those characters incredibly relevant right now as well.
Absolutely. And there she is. I'll put the right mask on this time, John. All right? Do forgive me. The Queen actually wanted to upstage me, but she will never do that because I'm looking down from heaven. Yes, I am. And I know what is going on. All right?
I'm pretty sure she's looking up from somewhere else, but
yeah, me too.
Fantastic. And you know what? It's almost like she was alive. I almost feel like I can't talk about gay rights in school anymore. And
I know. What a crazy world we're living in. That's why humour is really important. You know, just to lighten everything at the moment. It's so somber, isn't it? And just with the pandemic and
now more than
everything.
Ever. Yeah.
Oh,
in our times of challenge and crisis, I think it's one of the only sort of saving graces that we have that help us get through it is our ability to laugh at things and find humor. You know, I've got
a guest coming on my live show very soon. By the time this goes out, she will have been on. But she's had major events in her life, stuff that most people would be like, oh my God, I'd crack, I'd come apart. And yet, she's using humor as a tool to be able to get through all these difficult things and talk about them and laugh about them and cope, survive it's a very, very much a tool for that. And so, I believe humor is really powerful. One of the main reasons why I've wanted to speak about it with so many guests is because I believe it's a really powerful tool of influence and persuasion. And sometimes that's just about persuading people to be in a better mood or influencing people to be a bit happier in their lives. And sometimes it's more, it can go a lot deeper than that. But I do think it's a very powerful tool, and people, if you can make people laugh, I think there is a lot of power there. There's the create an element or environment of people trust people who can make them laugh. People like people who can make them laugh, and we want more of them. How did you end up? What was your journey into comedy? Did you find that you always were funny, or was it something that developed over time?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was picking up on what you were saying about your life, and I come from a very big family. I'm one of 11, so
That's
having to fight with 5 brothers, and then me being the first girl, number 6, and the rest, my sisters. It was like finding my voice and finding who I was. And then again at school, it was just like, because I came from a big family, we were poor, we had nothing, everything was hand-me-downs, everything was charity, so I wanted to hang out with all the funky kids who had the latest gear, and they were like good looking and the hairstyles and didn't have geeky glasses and braces like me. They didn't want to know me. So I was that one that just always stood in the corner of the playground, and that's when I found my comedy. I thought I had a knack, back in the day. So it was Margaret Thatcher. She was one of the first ones. Because my voice is quite deep, and I got down and dirty. And so I found she was one of the first. I know. One of the first ones.
How much that sounds like.
And it was just, and it all stemmed from there. And I started to make people laugh, and it was my happy place. It was my survival. Instead of standing in the corner and just being on your own, everything started to work inside your head, and even in class, I couldn't have a voice. I could read, but I couldn't express myself. It was that painfully shy girl, waiting to come out, and at the time it was just Lenny Henry, wasn't it, doing impressions, he's like,
he was very, very well known for it at the time,
and I just thought, and there was going back now, there was Faith Brown, she was doing.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, I'm going way back, John. I'm giving away my age.
Well, you're in the right room, because these are all people I remember as well. And I was lucky enough one time to meet Faith Brown in Guildford, and she was in a production of Annie as Mrs. Hannigan. She was so lovely, such a nice lady. But a great impressionist as well. And so there were a few very famous, prominent impressionists around that time. I'm sure there are some others, and if you threw names out, I definitely would probably know who they are. But then it sort of seemed to disappear for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I just thought, all I kept thinking about in my life growing up was, how can I be different? How can I stand out? And I just thought, there isn't a black female impressionist out there, so I started to fine tune my act and put all the different characters back then. I mean, I'll let you into a secret. I actually met Bob Monkhouse.
Oh, wow. Comedy legend. Yes.
I mean, my goodness, they were auditioning at Questers Theatre, and I went down just as me. I had a handbag, and I had my glasses and all my props in there. And they stood there and they were, what's she going to do? Is she going to sing? And then I came out with Margaret Thatcher, and you could have heard the whole room just stop. They just stopped.
Nobody
and then I opened my
expected
bag. And then I opened my handbag, and then I went, hello, darlings. A little bit spooky, possums. And it carried on like that, darling. And it went on and on and on. And I was just like, wow, where did you come from? Anyway, to condense it. Sitting at home, mind my own business, the phone rings. My sister says, oh, it's Bob. Somebody called Bob Monkhouse is on the phone. You what? Yeah, Bob Monkhouse is on the phone. Hello? Hello, Bob. Bob Monkhouse here. We'd like you to appear on Opportunity Knocks. What?
Oh, gosh. Wow.
Wow. So, but the downside was they got out their book. I think it was John Junkin. Was it John Junkin? All these old names, I can't remember the other names now. Anyway, lots of writers for Bob decided they'd write my script for me, for the show, and big no.
Right.
I didn't feel it. It wasn't me. It wasn't from the heart. I'm realizing that, late on in life, just be you, do you. Somebody can't write what's inside your head. What made them go, wow, was it came from my heart. Do you know what I mean? And then to write, words for me. I mean, I was just really young at the time and didn't know anything, John. I had nobody to say, don't do that or do this. I just kind of went along with it. Do you know what I mean? And kind of like epic fail. But it's made me now fine tune what I'm doing. And I had a child, and so I put it all on pause. And so last year, I just thought, I'll go back into it. Do you know what I mean? I'll find different voices. And, well, Diane Abbott happened to call me, John, and said, what it was. I'm with the Labour Party, but in my spare time, well, yeah. Anyway, she's one of them, She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just like, she got a phone call and she went to, yes, I went to Scotland and they told me I was trying to find lockdown. Sorry? Lock what? Lockdown? Oh, do beg your pardon. I seem to have got it wrong. So she comes in and she does really like crazy things to do with mathematics and everything, you know what I mean? And as conversations with other people, they come in. And then I quite like doing a little bit of Stacey Solomon. She comes in. What's nice about Stacey? She appears on Loose Women and she's a quiet girl like, excuse me, young lady, who do you think you're talking to? You just drive away your say. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Don't understand what the 3 boys saying. Oh, slow down there, boys. The horses that come down with horses.
So anyone outside of the UK who might be watching or listening is going to go, what the hell? But everyone in the UK is like, oh yeah, Janet Street Porter.
Everybody else is like, what? Especially when you're doing Zoom meetings and doing comedy, the Americans are like, who's there? You don't know who that is. She's got some strange, garbled voice.
I love her on TV, but yeah, she's sometimes a bit hard to understand. It's really, really weird. But my mum used to be good friends with her sister years ago.
No, really?
Yeah. And
you know everybody, John.
It's maybe a lot of people, but it's certainly never really knew Janet. But my mum was friends with her sister. What can I tell you? Small world is a small world. But she's an entertaining character on TV, but such a distinctive way of speaking. What is it with impressions comedy that what does it allow you to do in terms of how you present or what material you can use?
I think what it does, it allows you to tune into what's going on now. So Janet is prime example. When she talked about something in Paris about Notre Dame, she says outrageous things. And for me, I don't think any colour should define who you are. You should still be able to express yourself. It doesn't matter, stick with black characters, stick with black women. Well, then that just puts me in that box. I don't want to be put in that box. I want you to know that I can do these characters, and I'm not being insulting or derogatory or being racist. It's just tongue in cheek, and I just think it's about time you should be allowed to be you. Do you know what I mean? Everybody else is doing it, Like Lenny Henry was doing white characters. So I thought, well, darn, I'll do white characters, And so If Stacey says something in the news, I'll jump on it and do that. If Samantha from Sex and the City was having a real hard time with Carrie, and Bradshaw, they had a very bad falling out, didn't they, John? So they're not talking anymore. But anyway, mom's the word. And sometimes she will go down to Brixton and try and find her Mr. Big, and just go, I met a man called Junior. And I said, is that a gun in your pocket? Are you just pleased to see me? I didn't realize it was a real gun. And it's just silly. Do you know what I mean? It's just banter. It's
you can have some
like
fun
we
with
know, have fun with it and try and make light of what's, like I said to you, really quite serious, and the Dominic Cummings, and I would start some of my sketches with good evening, headline news for the comings and goings of Dominic Cummings going to the castle, and anyway. And then Trevor might go over to his political correspondent, Miss Diane Abbott. And then so he could get away with, because he can say anything. Trevor can say anything, So
absolutely.
These are quite hard voices for me to do.
But he's an institution in himself, yeah.
Exactly. He could just say anything and make it sound wonderful. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah. There are certain voices you just love listening to. I'm curious. I mean, do you find that sometimes you feel like you get an insight into how those people think as well when you're impersonating them, when you're kind of embodying them?
Yes, absolutely. Because only certain characters can say, for me, certain words. Like Trevor wouldn't talk about maybe something that Janet Street Porter might, or be a little bit Dixie-like, Stacey Farman. Do you know what I mean? Certain things, as soon as I hear them, I think, that's Trevor. Trevor would absolutely say that about the news. It's topic, it's now. Do you know what I mean? And then somebody like, so anyways, Whoopi do here. She could talk about Donald Trump all day long, but you know what? What is there to say now? He's gone. Thank God. And good luck, Biden, because you're going to need all the luck you're going to need, my friend. So she can straight away go into the American market and just say anything. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I know straight away when the news comes out. Sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes you've got to just make it up and just whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Does it? Yeah. Does it sometimes almost allow you to say things that you wouldn't say because it's through them? It's like you've kind of made it. Yeah, but this isn't me saying it; it's them saying it.
You're absolutely right, John. That's exactly. It's like sometimes I say I'm the lady behind the glasses, and sometimes I will say when I'm starting my sets, my friends say to me, whatever you do, Ione, don't make a spectacle of yourself. Introduce the glasses. Do you know what I mean? And it's behind. She's a little bit shady, and all these like Tim Vine isms. I love all of that play on words. And you're absolutely right. I think that person years ago that was hiding behind all these voices is still here, because I'm a different person when I put on the glasses and become this character. It's not Ione, it's Stacey, it's Janet. They can get away with it because it's not me. Do you know what I mean? You're absolutely right. And I found that out. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
And it was great doing stand-up last year because I was the only one on the circuit. And when I finished, I went, didn't expect that. Didn't expect that. That's what I'm doing.
And that's a lot of comedy in itself, isn't it? Like going outside of people's expectations in itself is a good source of humour.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can, why not? And that's why I don't do stand-up. I'm not a stand-up. Oh, that's not me. I want you to come on a journey with me. Do you know what I mean? And take you, and sometimes I'll have like a remote control and I'll press the remote control and I'll go, what's on television? And I'll go, here we are on Gogglebox, and our Goggleboxes are Miss Piggy, Miss Piggy, and Kermit the Frog, and then they'll have a conversation, go, Miss Piggy, what? I want to watch Princess and the Frog. Shut up, Frog! I'm going to watch Babe, and then Babe 2. give me Fran's legs, and it goes on like that, you know. So sometimes you'll be watching Gogglebox, or sometimes I'll get the audience to a bit of EastEnders, and they'll come in and she's old now. Oh, Doc might come in and say that she's gone. She might be doing something else. So, you know, EastEnders might come in and you have a conversation with Dot, and maybe, boy, all talk like that, don't they, John? Do you know what I mean? Everybody talks like that. And then you go, Bill, Sharon, shut your mouth, you slip. Then you talk like that.
Isn't there? I mean, almost. I don't know. It's almost like an advantage, because, like, even if your audience doesn't know who you are, they know who your characters are. There's a familiarity already built into what you do, which is kind of genius in a way. It's like, yeah. People, they don't need to know who you are. They know who all. It's people in the UK, sure. People outside the UK may be a bit unclear on some of the characters, but probably even in the US, they know what EastEnders is, and they're familiar with the old Cockney accent kind of thing.
That's right. That's right. All right. All the characters are, all right, bruv. Yeah. You're right, bruv. Yeah. Maybe a cup of tea. All right. And then the Sharon, she's just all, yeah, Phil, what, Phil? And it's just, even some of the other characters that accompanied in the hairdressers, they all talk like that, don't they? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? All the black characters, they all talk like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just hilarious.
In South London, all right passes the whole conversation, really, doesn't it?
All right, yeah, you all right? Yeah, all right. I say it like, they say it like, no, it's not see you like, slighter.
But I love that, and it's really, really fascinating. Like, do you ever step into these characters, particularly not just for creating your comedy, but to just change your view on a particular? I wonder how they would think about this and be able to step into it. Do you find you can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like, for instance, you might have Gemma Collins, you know what I mean? It's been on Dancing on Ice and I'm a Celebrity, getting me out of here. And she kind of thinks that she's quite brainy, but she's not really. So she might be talking about a topic and completely go, of course. Do you know what I mean?
I think she thought she was on Falling on Ice, right?
Oh, no, fell flat on her boobs, didn't she? Oh, I don't know. And thought people were watching because of her. You know, she's just in a different... Do you know what I mean? It's just so different. Like, she just believes she's somebody else and she's intelligent, and we all know that.
Well, when you look at who she hangs around with, you can see why she thinks that.
I know. They make her believe that she's the diva. Do you know what I mean? It's just great, isn't it? You're so different.
Excellent. It's a unique style of comedy in many ways, but I think it really opens up a lot of possibilities, because there is such a high level of acting. Like, you don't just, and you're not just talking about someone else, you're being them. That must take a lot of work. I mean, how long does it take you to get a voice, or does it depend on who it is?
Yeah, it depends, because when I was doing Marge Simpson, so he's kind of like that, and she goes, oh, Homer, Bart. And she's with a croaky, and she's Bart. Oh no! And then, yeah, Ma, Bart. Yeah, Ma. What do you want, Ma? You know, because he's kind of easy to do. Yeah, okay, I'm a cow man. Oh, Homer. And when I was doing her in the kitchen, I suddenly thought, wow, if I go down like that, make it a bit more like that, Whoopi Goldberg, damn, came out. So from Marge Simpson, went straight into Whoopi Goldberg. And another one, I was trying to work on Sean Wallace from The Trace. Lord knows why I was trying to do. I just couldn't do him. But when I was doing Sean Wallace, Angela Venus, wonderful lady. Do you know who she is, John? She's just left the. Hello, it's me. Yes, big 1, 2, 3, big. She's just left.
I'm not sure. I don't get UK TV.
Fielding and the little one, she's quite little. Come on. She's little. Sandy who?
Sandy Toksvig.
Thank you.
Sandy Tuxfield. So I don't get a lot of UK TV, so I might be a bit slow on some of this.
Oh, John.
living in Spain, I'm not up with everything that's on
right.
UK TV. But yeah, Sandy Tuxfield, of course. Yes, she's.
And I wasn't attempting to be her. I was just attempting to be someone on it. When I heard it, I was like, oh, right, it's her. Oh, yes, indeed. And it was just when you think you can't do somebody, for some reason, trying to do somebody else, you find in your throat or your nose or whatever, in your head, another voice comes out, and it's fantastic. Like I was watching Ronnie Ancona.
Oh,
and
yes.
she was doing Paloma face nose. So I thought, oh, I can do her. She's quite easy. She's quite kooky, isn't she? She's always like, talking with her mouth like that and really, really funny. What if you've done something, John? Put it on mute.
Yeah, there's men digging up the pavement outside, and I thought I would try and mute that down a little bit.
Yeah, so do you know who she is, the singer?
I do. I do know her, and that's she's very childlike almost in the way she speaks. It's
Definitely. I sometimes do things with the lollipop. She's got a really funny laugh, and she's just funny, isn't she? She's got a heart of gold, really.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, but if you think about it, she almost sounds a little bit like Joe Pasquale, doesn't she? They both got the same kind of voice, don't they? So
not too dissimilar, yeah. So some people's voices lead you into realizing you can do others as well. That's quite something.
Absolutely, yeah, silly voices.
But sometimes you do just find some voices just don't work for you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sometimes you think, oh no, don't do that one. That's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? But I like to sing as well. So I just thought, oh, who could I do singing? I thought, let me try and do this one. So I'm going to sing for you, John. Right? Not a lot, just a few words. You can try and think who she might be. Okay. You might want to close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes.
They're closed.
Try to say goodbye and not choke. Try to walk away and not stumble. No, I try to hide it. It's clear. My world crumbles.
That would be Macy Gray.
Yay! That was a nice one to do.
Yeah,
that one I
love Macy Gray.
I found quite easy, because again, I think for me, the more quirky, because again, she's almost like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Do you know what I mean? I find those voices quite easy to do and to sing like her. And then you get everybody in the audience singing with you. It's just wonderful. And they're laughing, going, yeah, Macy Gray. Do you know what I mean? It's great.
That's great. One of the things that you'll remember, because we're clearly from our conversation earlier, we're of an age where you're likely to remember things like.
Although we don't look it.
Well,
come on, smile with the eye.
You certainly have weathered the years far better than I think. But you will probably remember a show like the Fast Show.
Oh, brilliant.
And it wasn't really impressions, it was characters. It was all characters.
Yes.
So it was all different voices. But a lot of the time it was kind of the same sort of sketches over and over. You pretty much knew what you were getting week to week, but there would be small variations that just made it really funny. But it was that to some degree, it was that the familiarity that made it so well loved at the time. And essentially it was a show of catchphrases more than anything else, and every character had their own catchphrases. But it was for people who loved it, really really loyal following. But it was just one of those. You could just step into it at any point and just feel like you knew where you were. And I think that's one of the things that with impressions, you can do that. It's like you step in and you know where you are, and you can relate to who it is, and it's comfortable. It's and it's easy. So that's great for being able to have instant connection with your audience, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice when they get their character. Sometimes, like you said, if it's a different audience, maybe they're European or whatever that was that. But the majority of the people do get the characters, and there's loads in there. There must be at least 2 or 3 you will know. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you got will.i.am. I might do Tom Jones. You might just go, yeah. Did I tell you? And then you'll go into Will.i.am, who's got bonkers glasses, and then somebody at Palomo Faith when she was on there, you know, and just make it quite relevant as well. So you've got your base layer, so you might start with Stacey and go on to Loose Women and whoever's on there, and then bring in another show, and then cut to the news, and then maybe have the advert, go compare. Just keep going. And then another thing I like to do is I'll say, heaven, I'm in heaven, and I'll maybe go upstairs to heaven, and maybe Bob Marley's up there, Jah Rastafari, you know, me come upstairs for a little bit of peace and quiet, and then maybe Amy Winehouse might just say, I mean, hear me, Winehouse, and she said she wants to go back to black, and I said no, you know, make it clever, play on words. And then there's the one she call herself Mavis from Coronation Street, and I said, Mavis, why you know? I don't know, you know. But me know you don't know, you know, and just who would he bump into, you know, and maybe Cilla Black. Surprise! No, Cilla Black would be, surprise, eh? I bumped into Bob Marley on the way to the canteen. I asked him if he wanted a donut. We're jamming. It's just what would go on. And sometimes people are like, oh my God, she's taking it there. And something like, wow, you took it to heaven? And Amy Winehouse was there, and Mavis, and what would it be like? And the Iron Lady would be there.
Expand your repertoire.
Bring them back.
Yeah, well, why not? But it's all entertaining. So you can really create a chain really between all these very unrelated people potentially. So you can make it make sense and be a lot of fun for people. And again,
exactly.
So I mean, perhaps the way you create your comedy is maybe different from some of the other comedians who I've spoken to, are maybe more. A lot of the comedians I talk to are like storytelling kind of comedians.
Yeah.
So yours is much perhaps, again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there are stories there as well, but when you're creating or putting an act together, it's going to be like, well, you know, what you look at what's going on, you see who's going to be relevant to that, and be able to give these sort of perspectives or funny perspectives from those characters' eyes and mouths.
Yes. And it's nice if you have your what would start it, who would start it, and what would they say? And then you get it from there. You always have your bit of paper and a pen or your voice recorder. And you just get all these bizarre ideas when you're out, or you might see something, yes, that has how I could start that, you know. And it starts to link. And like I said to you, when I started doing stand-up for the first time last year, you know, like March, April last year, it was amazing. And then it was like, I was going to do all these shows, you know, newcomer, blah, blah, and obviously, you know, lockdown, you know, but it gives you time to fine tune what you're doing and do a few Zoom meetings. It's not the same doing Zoom comedy. It's not the same, but, you know, hey, you know, you're still doing something, you know, and it was just like I started off doing 5 minutes and I was so scared, John. I nearly said, I can't do this. My voice just went. I just dry, knees knocking, all that. I can't do it.
Well, I think that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to ever even take a look at humor and comedy and start talking about it on my show, was because it is one of those areas that a lot of people are terrified of and scared to even go near. And I know, you know, okay, my sort of side of things is very much public speaking and presentations, but they're not exactly a world apart. They both involve getting up on platforms and speaking to people, and sometimes for very similar intentions. So, you know, they're very closely related areas. But the thing is, as a public speaker, people don't necessarily have an expectation that you're there to make them laugh. So that's just an added bonus. Whereas you're up on stage as a comedian, people very much have that expectation, and there's a lot more pressure with that because it's a, you know, was it Groucho Marx said, you know, dying is easy, it's comedy that's hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so difficult. And don't forget, I've done opportunity knocks and I've failed. For me, I failed because I wasn't able to be me, you know. So all these years later, it's summing up that courage and bravery again, because you need a lot to stand up there And don't forget, you've been knocked. You've gone out there and you've done this thing and you've been knocked. So it's like, I don't want to do this again. It really crushed me. I couldn't do it. So all these years later, to do it again and to go, I can do it. And then she's like, now it's your turn. Ione, number 3 is going to be, you're thinking, oh my God. The realization of you're actually going to do this again. Remember what happened. You went back to how you felt when it didn't work. No. This is new. This is a different new. You can do it. You know, and when I heard the first chuckle and the first laughter, that was it. And the feedback from the host was like, you started your first 2 characters, he said, and you brought Whoopi Goldberg in. She, for me, was one of your best ones. Leave her till the end. Leave her till later on. Give them the thrill. Little, small, and leave your best ones, really. Bring in your good ones, but leave your till the end so you leave on a high, you know? Yeah. And then when he saw me, I think 6 or 7 months later, he came up to me and he went, wow, you are a different person. From the first time I saw you, he said, what I liked about you, you enjoyed yourself. You were enjoying yourself and you slowed down. Honestly, John, I was, he goes, you don't let people wait. You go into Palomo, into. That's just nerves, energy. He said, you slowed it down. You enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. And well done. And then the last gig, I think I was up to 15, 20 minutes. Lord knows how I got up. In 9 months, I got up to 20 minutes. That is not bad. I was so proud of myself, you know?
Yeah,
so,
people think, 20 minutes doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lifetime when you're on stage.
20 minutes to keep people's attention span and keep them laughing. Because at some point you think, but because it was so different, you know, it was actually the Top Hat in Luton. That's where I was. And it was so different. It was just like, can you do this one next time? Because, you know, you're doing people what we know. And next time, do a bit of Shirley Bassey, Goldfinger. So, you know, I thought Goldfinger and I made like that. Hello, darling. Put her in there. You know, it's just endless, John. It's so exciting because a bit of music.
Shirley Bassey, I've met several times.
I'm going home. Really? Ready to meet Shirley?
I could tell you. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on. I could tell you a story about Shirley Bassey, but I might have to tell you off air. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I might get into trouble if I make it public.
Wow.
But I loved her, and it's nothing bad about her. But she might not appreciate it. Is all.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love it. So when opportunity knocks you over, you have to dust yourself off and get back up again, right?
Oh, that is a great thing to say.
You're welcome to it. It's my gift for you. Opportunity knocks you over and you get back up.
That is so good. That is so good, John. That's brilliant.
I'm glad. I have my moments, you know. At least one an episode.
Exactly.
But this is such an important part, and I think it's one of the reasons why I admire anyone who will get up on stage and give comedy a go, and certainly anyone who's stuck with it long enough to get good at it and be able to get their audience's laughter, because it does take time to get that, and it does take commitment, and it does take the failures and the knockdowns. But you know, like anything, you know, one thing that speech coaches and presentation coaches and comedy coaches will say as well, you have to get the stage time. You have to get on stage as much as possible, and it's ultimately the practice that makes you good. It's not that practice makes perfect. Practice is something that continues to make things, continues the improvement, and allows you in 6 months to go from being at one level to rising up potentially to a much higher level. I saw this was it this year? Yeah, this year in a public speaking competition. One of the guys from my club here in Valencia was competing in Spanish, but I mean, I can understand enough. And I saw him do the speech at club level for the club competition, and he won with that, and rightly so. It was very good, and he'd practiced it, I guess, quarantine was a benefit to that, but he had practiced it really well whilst he's in quarantine. And then when he delivered it at the next level, at the area level of competition, he really knocked it out the park. And so he went up to the next level from that, but he deserved to. But it was, again, because he had practiced it, because he'd stuck with it and improved it and polished it, he had risen up to a level that was miles above where he started out. And for all of us, that's where you have to start. But comedy is the one that we're more afraid of. If we're doing something that's like a humour speech or a comedy bit, your type 5 or even your type 20, you're getting up there, and it's a much higher level of vulnerability, because if you do a speech that doesn't go so well, you maybe gonna sort of think, well, you'll move on from it. But you do a comedy set that doesn't go so well, and you know that everyone there is going to remember that it bombed as well. So there is a lot of pressure, because nobody wants to be remembered in that way, and that's one of the hardest things to get over. But so and it's interesting that you say you kind of had an experience like that, and it did actually set you back a bit, but you did eventually come back, and thank goodness you did. You did eventually come back from it. Now that you've done that, do you feel that that's something that is easier to get through now? You understand now that it's not always going to be the best gig you've ever done. You're not always going to have the best audience you've ever had, and so some of your experiences maybe aren't going to be as uplifting as others, but you carry on.
Absolutely. And I think what I learned, but don't forget, I was so young, John. I didn't know anything. And I just wanted to run away from home. I was thinking, how can I do this? And it was just, I found this act, I put it all together, got a great response, and it was taken from me, and you will do this. It's just like, do this. We think this will work for you. And if you don't, now and you think about it, how could I possibly read these words from this script when it didn't come from me, when you don't know who you are? If they give it to me now, absolutely. If they wrote it now for me now, knowing who I am, the person, I could make this script come alive. You're a different person. You adapt, don't you? But when you're young and you don't know, and it's all just all surreal and crazy and going at fast pace, you didn't have a prayer. So what I learned now is to stick to your guns and be honest and true to yourself. And funnily enough, I got spotted. Somebody found me like you on LinkedIn, and I was asked to do Britain's Got Talent. So yes, I'll condense it all down to you. I got through to the final stage. I got on that X. I met YI, the Geordies. I met them, and I went on the London Palladium. Simon and Alicia, they were all there. Amanda interviewed me and said, well, why are you here? And I said, well, if I don't do it now, Amanda, I will never do it. Everything went just so well. I mean, Simon was the first to stand up and just said, fantastic. Wow. He said, the only one I didn't know was the little Hobbit one. I said, oh, you mean Polina's face? And he went, yeah, then he didn't know who she was. I said, everybody else knew who she was, silly old man. That's the only one he couldn't quite get to grips with, but everybody else, he went, wow, why hasn't anybody? Anyway, it was just like, and then he stood up, and then every single one of them stood up, and then the whole audience stood up. And now, John,
wow,
I wish I could have just taken a picture or just videoed that clip and played it to everybody. And I was so excited. I was like, wow, I'm on my way. You never got to see it. No, yeah. And then it's like, you hear about things and, this one got the gold ticket and this one got blah, blah, blah. But he remembered you. And so, but you know what? It made me want to do it even more, which is why I started doing, the stand-up. I just thought, well, if Simon Cowell stood up and went, wow, and gave me a standing ovation, I must have something. And the feedback he gave me was do more characters, maybe bring some more music in. Do you know what I mean? Make it around the world, go around the world, see who. Act more, absolutely. Fine tune it. So I took that from him. It doesn't matter if I didn't. Well, I was gutted, a little bit gutted that he didn't get to see me, but from him to say that to me was like respect. I amazing for me. Again, I was so nervous. I nearly didn't do it. Again, the throat went and the legs went. And I said to the stage director, I said, what if I can't do this? What if I might get a brain fail? I fail. He went, well, you just breathe and you go again. He said, it doesn't matter. I said, well, it does. And when I stood there, and when I did it, when I got 4 yeses, John, it was just like, oh, what boy? Me? Oh, I didn't know which way to walk off. I was just like, you know, it was just amazing.
It's the kind of moment you wish you could bottle and
yeah. Honestly,
priceless moment.
My brother was there, and you know, he said I was crying. He goes, I was crying at that moment. I was crying because it was just like it couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah.
You know, and,
well, that's fantastic.
So that's the moment now, yeah.
It's just a shame it never. Yeah, just a shame they cut it and didn't continue on. But yeah.
My time will come. My time will come, John.
You keep going. But again, this is another thing. This is life. You will have those highs, and you kind of maybe even have expectations that, all right, well, look how good this has gone. What comes next? And it's still not guaranteed. It's still something the case of, okay, well, this is what should have happened next. This is what I think should have happened next. And look, this is what has happened. And that's a bit deflating as well. And again, you have to pick yourself up and keep going through that, and just keep loving what you're doing and doing it for you and doing it for your audience. And you know, these things are just as true in the world of public speaking as in being on stage for I guess any reason. It's like the most important things are do it for your audience and keep going no matter what. Keep going because you love it. You know,
absolutely.
I could even talk to in podcasting, like if you went and watched or listened to my very first podcast episode or one of my earliest podcast episodes, it's almost a different show. I mean, it's still me, and you know, it's only a year or so ago, but no, the conversations I have now, the sort of flow and the comfort that I have in being able to talk to people and sort of get more into the habit of being able to really listen well and sort of think, what do I want to ask them next? And not always be thinking about what's my next question, actually just have a conversational flow and really listen to people. That's still something I feel like I'm getting better at, and hopefully we'll still continue to get better at. But I know there's a big difference between where I am now and where I was when I first started my journey into podcasting. And so there should be. And so there should be.
Yes.
But,
and I think, like you said, you must, if you really have a passion for something, you must continue. If that drive and that ambition and that hunger and that passion is there, you must continue. Because the day you stop might be the day and time that something amazing. Love crew.
This is the
might
thing.
Happen.
Yeah. This is the thing with podcasting is like I don't make any money from it. I'm not famous because of it. Not that I want to be famous, but it's because I love it. I love having these conversations. I love the people like yourself who I get to chat with and have fun times, learn things from people, get insights, and being able to see different perspectives of the world, or just understand things in a new and different way. It's such a joy to be able to do this, and something that I never even would have thought before doing it that I'd really love. Like I remember trying to start a podcast about 10 or more years ago, and it was just me by myself, and it wasn't very interesting or exciting, and podcasting really wasn't so much of a thing, and so it just didn't.
Before your time, like me.
Yeah. And so I didn't stick with it. I had what they call now pod fade. I did maybe 4 or 5 episodes and then quit. And I, now looking back, I wish I'd stuck with it, but that's just the way it is. But now I love it and I am sticking with it. And but I sometimes do talks and presentations about podcasting. Not that I'm an expert in it, but I'm doing it. And always afterwards, people come and ask me about monetizing their podcasts. And man, I'm not saying you can't do it, but if that's why you're doing it, you're better off not doing it. Because this is a labor of love kind of thing. And I would say that with generally with speaking and with comedy and, performing arts in general, it's like, of course you can make money doing these things. But if that's why you're doing it, you're probably in the wrong job or looking at the wrong thing.
Absolutely. Definitely. If that's going to be your first thing, I want to make money, I want to be a reality star, it's not going to happen. You've got to do it because it's truth. It's truth. It's something you believe in inside. It's your whole being when you're standing up there speaking, making people laugh. Remember, I was this geeky, insecure, painfully shy person growing up. and to sit here now and just be very expressive and animated to you, I just think it's amazing. And I just want to let people know to keep going if that's your dream. What was his name? Felix Dexter. Do you remember Felix Dexter? Bless him. God rest his soul. He's no longer here. A comedian. He was amazing. He was in The Real McCoy. I mean, The Real McCoy and programs like that.
Vaguely, very vaguely, I'm afraid.
Very black orientated. They should bring it back now, I'm telling you. And I bumped into him when he was on the circuit. I said, this is something that I want to do, you know, I really feel. He looked at me and he went, if it's something you truly believe in with your heart, keep going. Yeah. Don't stop. You must just keep going. He goes, go for it. And when he passed away, I thought, I need to just do this. I need to just do it. And it's wonderful.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'm not big into talent shows. I'll be honest. I mean, I'll watch them, but you know, it's not really not something I love that much, with the exception of RuPaul's Drag Race. But you know, it's but sometimes, you know, I see enough clips from these things and see that there are major talents out there. But there's also a lot of people who go on these shows. I used to, certainly when all that stuff was out, Pop Idol and all that, I was really into it. But you know, I maybe just had a bit of fatigue on the genre in general. But sometimes you also see people who clearly really love what they're doing, but maybe don't have the talent to go all the way on those sorts of shows, or they're just not there yet. And I think maybe I'm sure I've heard some people who've like been judges on these shows saying before now about you feel like you're saying no to somebody is actually, you know, really cutting the head off their dreams kind of thing, and that thing that they may actually stop doing it because of that. And there's like no one's saying stop doing it, just saying, well, either right now or in general, you may not have what it takes to go all the way. And that may just be right now, or it may just be that's just how it is. But if you're loving it, that should be the reason to keep on doing it anyway. You know, and I think we sometimes forget that. It's like if somebody's just loving what they're doing and having the best time. We put too much emphasis on you have to be at the highest level to otherwise why bother? You know, if you're not the world's best singer but you love singing, go and sing. You know, you may not be able to, you know, you may not be a multi-million selling platinum artist, you may not be Adele or Taylor Swift, but go out there and sing anyway. And just love what you do, and stuff if you make money for it. Make money some other way if you have, and fuel your hobby, your passion, and do it because you love it. But I think too often we just don't do these things, as you said, because of judgment, or because thinking we have to be better than or get to a certain kind of level, or we just don't have the knowledge yet or the experience yet. And it's hard to do that. So that's why I have a huge level of admiration for people like yourself who've stuck with it and who've gone on and performing, because I know how much you have to get through psychologically to be able to get up on the stage and do that. It's a big thing, and not everyone has that.
And people are the worst things, you know. They will be the first to crush your spirit. That wasn't funny, you're not good, why do you want to do this anyway? And you can take it on board and just go away really disheartened, or I'll turn around and go, you gotta take the mic. Take the microphone and do what I did. Now I suddenly go into a different persona and say, I know I'm good, okay? Just in a matter of time. And I just have a laugh and joke with it. So I think, I've got balls. My balls are bigger than yours. I know they are. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to listen to what you say. And it drives me on, John. It drives me on even more, you know? And the nicest thing about doing it, I now sometimes do ADR work, which means, like, you know, if you watch like the Long Song or the James Bond movie or something, they want background atmos voices. I sometimes am called to do that now. So I fill in, I go to the studio, and it's like, they show you a scene, and I go, what would they be saying in that scene in Jamaica or in South London? You might say South London, do you know what I mean? Come and get your Japanese pairs, come and get your stuffy red dress over here, boy, come on, all right, geezer. So, and they're all about much a Jamaican accent, you know, and I go, right, Lord of mercy, I'm planting or dumpling and breadfruit. So whatever the scene requires, you've got to really improv and deliver, you know. So it's really nice that sometimes this is good money. You get gigs like that, you know. So you just
I must admit, I mean, you generally just kind of look at what's right in front of you most of the time, right, in life, and yet there's all these other opportunities that can come from that. So even if you're, like you say, a lot of the time, a lot of people who are making the biggest money in some mini showbiz and arts things are not the people in the limelight.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Behind the scenes, Miriam Margolyes, love
Oh,
her.
love her. Yeah,
What? Oh my God, I'd
she's
love
amazing.
to meet her.
I have met her. Yeah.
But her voices for adverts, she's all over it. She's all over it. I'd love to do something like that. Do you know what I mean? But just to be able to go in and do the little bits that I've done, hello, it's amazing.
I have to tell you, when I did meet her, and it's hilarious, and I love her to bits. She's incredibly eccentric as well.
Just says it. She just says it, doesn't she? Oh.
She's. I think she's just hard not to love because of it. It's like one of my favorite TV moments. Yeah, one of my favorite TV moments ever is her and will.i.am on Graham Norton's show. That was just gold. Yeah. That was gold. Yeah. And I know they tried to recreate it again, but the second time around, it's like it was one of those magic moments, and they tried to sort of force it again. But when I met her, she came. I was introduced to her, and she said, "My name's Miriam Margolyes, and I'm a lesbian. Are you a homosexual?"
I love her. Did you see her? She was on something the other day, and she was in America. She was in South America like that. And there's this really big guy. I mean, he's obese. And she looked at him. She goes, "You're fat, aren't you?"
must have been news to him. He probably never realised before.
He was just this small stool, and he was just like big, and she couldn't see the stool. She goes, "Well, I don't look like you, do I?" She goes, "Wow, you must have eaten some food to get that size."
She seems to be low on what we call filters, right? she just says it. There's no filter, but she's very entertaining because of it.
Yeah,
and a very talented lady as well.
Oh, she's amazing. I love her.
Because she is primarily a voice artist as well, I think, isn't she? She does so many voices for commercials and things.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the time you wouldn't even know it's her because she doesn't always do them in her voice.
Yeah. Yeah, she turned around, she said she did the Flake one. The Flake?
She did. I remember she did Cadbury's Caramel. She was the bunny for Cadbury's Caramel.
Oh, right? My gosh. She just knows where to go.
Yeah.
And you can. I think if you just work at your instrument, you can get to places that you just think, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Sarah Millican's another one. She goes quite high, and she's Sarah. I love her. Champion. When I met Ant and Deck, so I was sitting to them. I said, "Why are you fellas?" And they said, "Oh, it's Sarah Millican." I said, "Aye." When I came up the stage, they went, "Champion." I said, "Champion." And it was just exciting. She goes quite high, doesn't she? She's down there. But when she gets really excited, she goes up there like that, So
I like her. I like her humour, and she's a great comic.
She's filth, isn't she? Utter filth.
I can well believe it, but that's a real treat as well, because when you can do someone like Sarah or someone like Whoopi Goldberg, you have access to a whole load of possibilities for where you can go there, especially someone like Whoopi Goldberg, like such a versatile performer herself as a stand-up comedian. Like, she's an incredible stand-up, she's a great actress, she's an amazing performer, she's an amazing TV host, and she has all these aspects to her which are just wonderful. She's almost like, let's say chameleon would be the wrong word, but I mean she's what they call in the business a multiple threat or a triple threat. I think she can do so many different things, and she does them really well. And so it gives you as a performer who can impersonate her a lot of possibilities for where you can go, like any of her films or any of her TV shows or stand-up stuff.
I know, John. That's why I say, I'm just passing through, giving you my point of view, because she's on a program called A Point of View, and she's got to act together, a sister act, and you put like innuendos in there. You can go anywhere. You can talk about this. You can talk about that. There's a reason and every season for watching Whoopi. You can get her to sing. You can be very clever with your the characters that you do. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I think is amazing. Whoopi can sing. Diane can do a rap. Man's not hot. So I don't know if you know that 2 + 2 is 1. Mine is like Big Nasty. I don't know if you know that song. You don't know it, do you? No. Well, I got Diane to do it and just get it all wrong. With Matt, it was just like, and when I do that on the stage, it's like, oh my God, it's Diane! She's doing the rap! Do you know what I mean? It's like they got it. When they get it, John, it's champion.
But it's wonderful. I mean, when it comes to actually creating your material, do you sit down and do it, or does stuff just come up as inspiration? Or what's your strategy, if you like, for putting your act together?
I think I've got the basis of it. I've got a few things that I can draw upon. But I think, okay, what's in the news? Who would say what? You know, or I would just have to, like Sarah Millican was doing a tongue twister. You know, they said she suddenly was going to go on Loose Women. But before I go on there, I've got to do a tongue twister too. Because they said, no profanity, Sarah. So no profanities in the tongue twister. So I got her to just go, Peter, oh, and she started, so, no, I'm not swearing. I'm not really swearing. Cut it out if I am. Don't apologise, because she does swear a lot. So I had to
it's an adult podcast. We're all good.
Oh shit! Then so anyway, she was trying to be really like calm, and then it all just went like, oh, who gives a shit anyway? And I don't want to be a bloody loose woman. The only loose woman is me. And so it suddenly went. Then I was like, where did that come from? And I think this is what it is, John. I met a group of people last year again on the rounds that do improv, extreme improv. So I joined this band of merry people. And we went out and did the Camden Fringe and did this Aylesbury Theatre. And it was just amazing because, again, I just thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Is my brain going to be quick enough to do improv? And again, I found out I could bring, especially when they did the impressions section. Well, I was just waiting.
That's your section. Yeah.
That was my bag. That was my baby. So, you learn.
Improv. Yeah, improv is just one of those things that the more you do it, the more you get into that way of thinking. Same as anything. It's like if you want to write comedy or act comedy or perform comedy, you have to get into that way of thinking, and you have to practice that way of thinking. Yeah. It's the same with anything. You know, if you're doing personal development stuff, again, it's a way of thinking. There's aspects and stances you need to take. If you're doing political commentary, again, you know, you find your voice, you find your perspectives. But with experience, you get better at doing that. Anything you want to get better at doing, you have to practice. And improv, although we think it should be spontaneous, takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of experience to get good at doing those things. And you know, of course, we have people. There are people who make it look really easy and they make it look spontaneous, like they've just got up on stage and I just come up with this, which is what you should think. But it's not true, because they're actually very well practiced in that, and they can pull all these things together. So I remember that thing. Let's do that, and you know, or a variation on stuff you've already done. It's a very particular way of thinking that requires a lot of practice. Spontaneity takes a lot of practice, which seems,
yes, it does.
You know, it's an oxymoron, but it's true.
Yeah, my best claim to fame was when we did Aylesbury Theatre. And we were told that Tony Slattery, whose line is it anyway, was in the audience. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it was like, give Ione a character. I think somebody shouting at Mary Poppins. So give her Mary Poppins to do. And he goes, oh, what would Mary Poppins be doing? Tony Slattery doing drugs. What? Mary Poppins doing drugs. And the guy who was hosting, David, said, he looked at me and went, you don't have to do it because Tony's a little bit drunk. You know, you don't have to do it. And I said, John, no. I already know what I'm going to say. So I was like, I was just like, just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. The medicine goes down in the most delightful way. And I was just like, He came down and went, he said, he did this. He said, you were the best on the stage. And I took that. I said, I'll take that.
That's a genuine compliment for someone who's so good at improv. I used to always look forward to the whose line is it anyway when he was on, because he was one of those ones that you knew he was going to be a bit naughty every single time. Like,
and he would
go there, and he still is. Yeah, I mean, I think he sort of, he seemed to sort of disappear from the comedy scene for quite a while and stuff. But
we had a bit of a terrible time. Yeah. You know the story.
I have some idea about it, but just a very very clever comedian and improviser. And
I didn't care that he came down with no shoes on, he had bare feet, a bottle of, alcohol, just completely out of his, but he chose me as one of them. He did a scene with us and he went, I'm going to have a new nurse. And he said, it's going to be, and he pointed at me and I was like, oh my gosh. So I've got a picture of me on the stage of Tony Slattery. I mean, really? Hello?
Yeah,
Brilliant. I don't care.
And
he will come back.
Another one of those moments you want to bottle, really, isn't it?
Oh, John, and the thing is, if you don't do these things, how will you know all these little rainbow moments, these little golden nuggets that happen to you in your life? And you just think, did that really, like when I did Britain's Got Talent, it was like I woke up and went, did that really happen? When I met Tony Slattery and all these moments, did it really? Wow.
I mean, you've met Amanda Holden. I mean,
oh my God. Amanda Holden. No, John, she met me, darling. Let's get it right. She met me, darling.
Nothing against Amanda Holden, but yeah, okay. Sorry.
Anything, John? Be careful.
But that's really cool. But those are priceless moments. I know from my own journey, like if I didn't do that, there's so many amazing people that I've connected with. In fact, some of the people I've connected with through my show, we've ended up becoming really good friends, and all of this stuff would never have happened if I hadn't been doing this. And some of the people who said yes to being my guests are people who I never would have even dreamed of approaching without having the premise of please come on my podcast. and I'm because it's not about me, it's about my audience, and hopefully delivering great content to people. That's my goal. I find I don't have an issue just going and asking people who I would otherwise probably be, I can't really ask them, or not, what am I going to say, kind of thing. It's like I just no, it's for the show, let's just do it, and I do. And so, of course, some people say no, or some people say, well, you're not right now, my schedule's busy, and some people say yes, and of course that's always great. But there's also been some really priceless moments. There's you follow the things that you love in this way. You're going to have those are the riches, those are the experiences that really come with it, and hopefully money comes as well. But at some point, but if you're doing the things you love, you're already rich, I think.
Absolutely. Definitely, and I didn't tell you that my background, no. So anyway, I got some Scottish in me, John. So when I do Billy Connolly, that's another one they like. You think, why is she doing Billy Connolly? Because I like him, and my roots are Scottish, so I put him in there and say, the great grandfather, But it's just watching people.
I had a feeling that you had Scottish roots. So
it's the nose,
I have Scottish ancestry myself, actually.
I do. Wow. There you go.
But it's my great grandfather was a lord, or a laird, I should say, and so I guess I still haven't found out, but I know there's a family tartan somewhere. We'll check that out. But I don't think I'm related to Billy Connolly. That would be really cool. The big Ian himself. It's, again, amazing stand-up performer. Although now, sadly, I don't think he's really able to perform anymore. But he's been an absolute legend over the years. And I knew straight away who you were doing with your impression as well. Yeah. Fantastic. I love this stuff. I mean, this is a very very different type of performing to some of what I talk about. But I think if you can do an impression and you can make it relevant to what you're doing, why not bring it into any kind of presentation? It's probably going to add a bit of humor. It might be something people aren't expecting. I mean, sometimes even a not great impression can still work. I'll do voices sometimes. I don't really do impressions. Like you were doing Kermit and Miss Piggy earlier. Like when I was young, I think I could do a decent Kermit the Frog, but now I think it would just sound weird.
I do Kermit the Frog. Go on. Did Kermit go on? No, Miss Piggy, come on.
Okay. I'll try. This is going to be terrible, probably, but. And it's the Muppet Show with our very special guest star, Miss Piggy. Yay!
Mm-hmm. So you think that was good, huh? You're just a little bit not funny. Oh, yeah!
I used to love the old men. You know, the old men, they go, oh, look at me. Oh, look at you.
Stand walked off.
I sit in the back and just slag everybody off.
Yeah, they were definite favourites. I loved when they brought back the Muppets for a bit as well. It was a bit hit and miss, but some there was some comedy gold in there as well.
There was.
Fuzzy is just one of those characters I'll always love. But pigs in space and things like that is all just iconic memories. What wonderful
just
show.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It's like, that's why I love doing, when I've got all these mad characters around me, and you've got like this lady, good Parker, yes, my lady. Parker, yes, my lady. Do you know what I mean? It's like Parker and I just have this stupid conversation, and it's like, and then oh, Parker, and then maybe Lady Penelope. Parker, what you did that boy? Lady Penelope goes, bragger. And then Parker, kiss me ass, me lady, you bum my clot. And then he switches and goes, this lady. Parker, this lady. And he just loses it, goes, kiss me ass, my lady. That's for the black audience. Love it when I just go ragger with ladies. Parker, what you did boy?
Well, that's great. I love that, and that's a lot of fun as well. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
You play around, John, with stuff.
I love this because what you do is joy, and it's fun, and sometimes that's exactly the reason for just going out and doing stuff. And if anyone gets a chance to come and watch you perform, they definitely must take it up. I know I'm going to look out for you when I'm next in the UK and things are when you're allowed to do performances, because it's fun and it's joy and it's a delight, and
silly.
We love to be entertained, and it's been such a joy chatting to you. Let me what would be some words for, I guess, from the conversation we've had, maybe for people who are just thinking about wanting to do this and saying, I'm not really sure if I can, I don't know if I've got it in me, or what would you say?
I think, carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. You don't know whether you might have an opportunity to actually do it. We didn't think we'd have this pandemic and everything would be shut down. So the longer you just thinking, maybe, no. You've got to, your head has got to say, I'm ready. Yeah? So get yourself ready. And when your head goes, you know what, I can do this, have your material. Have 3 minutes, 4 minutes, however. Just have something and believe in it. Have the conviction to believe in what you're going to say and do it. It doesn't matter if you get knocked. Be ready for the knocks, just rise up and do it again. So do it, because like I said to you, you don't know, you might never get a chance to do it, because I thought I was going to be doing all these gigs, and then further down the line, nothing. All this, we've had to cancel. But at least I started, John. I started the ball rolling,
Yeah, I know that just recently there's been so I won't go into too much detail, but there's been some things going on around my own life with people I know, where it's just been a real reminder that you absolutely have to seize the day. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and you really do have to go for it now, and just don't hold yourself back. Stop worrying about what other people think, and go and do it anyway. Have fun, enjoy your life, because we as far as we know, we only get one shot. So one trip.
Absolutely.
One journey.
And that's my mantra, seize the day. No. Look at what happened, Robin Williams. What an amazing talent, and it's like
incredible. Yeah,
incredible.
Incredible comedian and an incredible actor as well. I mean, the guy just kills it with pathos in his movies, and is an absolutely huge fan of him and his whole body of work. Such a sad loss, and I think we all kind of miss him as well very much. But amazing guy. Ione, it's been a real joy to speak to you, and it's been a lot of fun, and probably one of my most ever entertaining episodes as well. And so I know people are going to have a lot of fun with this. I'm looking forward to putting it out, and I wish you every success. I hope the gigs start flooding in very soon, and I certainly want to come and see you perform when I get the chance as well. I think you're an absolute treasure, and thank you for coming and being on my show.
Thank you, John. God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in and happy Christmas. Hey, remember to like, review and subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, it's really easy to leave us a review. Whilst you're here, why not pick up a free copy of my new ebook, The 5 Key Beliefs of Bulletproof Business Speakers, available from presentinfluence.com. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or you know someone who would make a great guest, please contact me, John, at presentinfluence.com. The same place to go to download the ebook. Look out for more episodes dropping over the holiday period, a few extra bonus shows to keep you entertained, whether you're on lockdown or free to roam. Have a very happy Christmas from Present Influence, myself, and everyone who's been involved in the show. Wish you a very happy Christmas, a wonderful new year, and let's have more great conversations and a really fun 2021. See you very soon.